Hey YouTube, it's Hannah from Smaugish here, and this evening I thought I would bring you a bit of a, well, I've been thinking about doing this for a while because I am in my late 20s and I've been sort of a member of the goth community and things for most of my adult life and a lot of my teenage years. So what I thought would be an interesting video to do is one sort of like an introduction and how to build a goth wardrobe, because I never think it's too late to join the spoopy world, and I never think it's too late, or you know, you're too old to want to experiment. So what I thought I would do is, whether you're young or old, is do a couple of videos on where to find goth clothes, and this is going to be in the UK high street, but I can, you know, you'll be able to find things in much the same sort of place in America as well, and Europe and around the world, but also how to find them on a budget and things like that. So this video is all going to be about clothing, and then I'm going to do another video about accessories and makeup, because I think one of the easiest ways, especially if you're on a budget or you're just starting to introduce more goth elements to your wardrobe, is through accessories. So first up is going to be clothing. Now I have specifically worn everything I'm wearing today, from my makeup to my jewellery to my clothing, is from the UK high street. This, I think, even was a charity shop purchase. It's just a short sleeve sort of lace cardigan. This rather awesome lacy black top is from Primark. And what I've got is I've got a series of clothes. I have a bag here with some examples of things you can get. And before anyone asks, there is going to be a lot of Primark here because I think it's such a fantastic place to get basics, and sometimes not so basics, for not a lot of money. So especially if you're maybe a teenager, you don't have a massive budget for buying clothes, Primark is one of the best places, I think, to find bits and pieces. Because I can understand when you watch YouTube or you look at Instagram or you Google and you see these goth people with these really elaborate clothes. Number one, not everyone is comfortable wearing that sort of thing, and number two, not everyone has the budget for it, and it can be very tempting to think, oh, to be a goth I have to spend loads and loads of money on clothing. Nope, if you go back to the original sort of start of the scene, it was all about DIYing, and it was all about taking basic pieces and dressing them up and doing them yourself. So I definitely think you can look suitably spooky and dark on a very limited budget with basics. So first things, something absolutely basic you're gonna need in your wardrobe are some basic black tops. And so what I've got here is a basic black vest and a cami, things like some basic long sleeve tops, and some basic short sleeve t-shirts. For a boy or a girl, you're gonna need these kind of things, basic black tops. You're gonna go to places like Primark or, you know, the UK high street. You can then start to add to things, and Halloween especially, so this sort of time, the next few weeks, are one of the absolute best times to find goth clothing, because brands like ASOS and Boohoo online and shops like Topshop, H&M, Primark, New Look, they all start coming out with like Halloween clothes, and especially like autumn winter, there'll be lots more fabrics like laces and velvets and sumptuous things and dark colours. So this is the ideal time of year to start building up a goth wardrobe. Case in point, last year, or a couple of years ago, from New Look, I managed to get my hands on, for not very much money, this rather amazing skeleton long sleeved top, which is quite a flattering cut. It kind of cuts up at the side, and it looks really good with jeans, with skirts. Can dress it up, can dress it down. So those are the kind of pieces that you're going to find and are going to really be good to inject that kind of gothness to your wardrobe. Other things, Primark is surprisingly good for finding things like this. I found this Misfits t-shirt. Now obviously I'm not going to say buy and wear t-shirts of bands you don't like, but when you're starting to sort of get into bands, to be perfectly honest with you, those t-shirts of bands you can find in mainstream shops are really good places to start with music. So H&M, did the rather controversial Marilyn Manson t-shirt and all those kinds of things, but I found this, and this was like a £5, so that was pretty good. Another thing, this again is something I found from Primark, and this was last year, but I know that they occasionally do things like that, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. This is a t-shirt, so it's like a cold shoulder long sleeve t-shirt, but it's got this really cool, like, if you can see that, almost post-apocalyptic distressed like holes and wearing over it, which is very goth. And again, it was from Primark, so it was from a high street store. Other things that you can find in Primark, and this is sort of in the shops at the moment, are things like this, which is a crop top. It's got a bit of like crotchety lace at the bottom, and it does up with hook and eye fastenings at the top. Now, I am quite clearly a larger woman, so I'm a bit about crop tops, but this top looks absolutely gorgeous over the top of longer things with skirts, you know, high-waisted skirts, so it's really good. And again, it's that sort of almost trad goth vibe, and it's something that would be really easy to like introduce into your wardrobe to start darkening what you're wearing, your outfits. Talked about that was my long sleeve top. Some more things that I've recently got that are also, again, in the shops now and are perfect for creating a goth wardrobe. And this thing was £12, and it doesn't quite fit me over the boobs yet because there's not really any stretch to it, but it's very far off, so I'm going to get into it. And it has awesome, like, slightly fluted bell sleeves, and it has this awesome, like, almost corseted bit, and it is very trad, very 80s, very goth. Last recent purchase, and this was just from New Look, and this was less than a tenner, is another really plain t-shirt with this like hook and eye detailing. It's quite a long t-shirt, and again, it's going to be good for layering, and that's what you want when you're starting off into a sort of goth wardrobe. You're starting to sort of inject that kind of darker aesthetic. You don't want to go too overboard. You want things like this, these basics that are going to be, I think, apart from that top I mentioned, the sort of one with the bell sleeves and that, I think everything I just showed you, all of the tops, were less than £10. And that's what you want. You want to start small. You want to start basic, and then you want to gradually increase things. You want to accessorize. Excuse me. And you don't want to throw yourself right in the deep end and really, I mean, you can if you want to, but I would really suggest you don't throw yourself right in the deep end and you don't go really extreme really straight away, because I think that could be a little bit off-putting, especially if you're younger and you're experimenting with it and you live with your parents. Parents can sometimes not quite understand the goth thing. I mean, I was always lucky with my parents. They were always quite encouraging to find like my own style and find my own way in that, but I know always parents aren't, so you just want to be careful. And these kind of basic things are those easy things that you can just start injecting in, and most people will have plain black tops, plain black jeans. The other thing that is an absolute essential in any goth girl's wardrobe, and some goth guys, is black leggings. I have about 1 million pairs of these, and I literally will wear leggings pretty much every day. I have long ones, I have some cropped ones, I have some bicycle shorts for wearing under skirts and dresses. Just an amazing, you can pick them up in Primark, New Look, Topshop, anywhere. And sometimes you can get really cool patterned ones if that floats your boat. The other thing that again you can pick up pretty much everywhere is plain black skirts. This is quite a short one, but I have some more sort of knee-length pencil skirt ones. Leather look shorts at the moment, again, because we're going into autumn winter, they could be quite good to goth up an outfit. And the other thing that I think is an absolute must for every goth girl's wardrobe are a couple of just basic black cardigans. This is quite a long one, but basic black cardigans are great for layering, especially as it's getting colder. But again, look around in Primark. I know I've got one in my wardrobe that has a bit of fur around the collar, or you can get ones with lace on the back, and just really experiment and see what you can find. And if you're still not comfortable, and not every goth wears completely black outfits, a nice thin cardigan is in a dark green or a dark purple or a dark red or a dark grey is a good way of just injecting a little bit of colour, especially if you're kind of easing yourself into the whole black thing, then, you know, a cardigan in a dark colour is a good way of, you know, making the people around you not worry about you and not think that you're suddenly all poetic and depressed because you're suddenly dressing completely in black. This is something that you could easily DIY, and I've mentioned this a million times, and I also have a jumper like this in my wardrobe, and it is my cardigan, my distressed cardigan. Now, that's another thing that is really easy way of getting a goth wardrobe, is DIYing things, distressing them, ripping them up, cutting them up, shredding them, using safety pins, whatever it is. Then, you know, doing it yourself is a really good way of doing it. So you could get a cheap, from a charity shop, a cheap jumper or a cheap cardigan and distress it. You can get tights from charity shops and wear them as tops and things like that. You don't have to buy everything and wear it as is. If you can do things yourself, like add pins to a bag or a coat or a jacket or something like that, then that's going to be yours. You're going to be the only person that has it. And again, it can be a good way of getting some really cool pieces in your wardrobe for not much money. And I understand I have a massive clothing problem at the moment, but I know not everybody is going to have the money to be honest, half the time I don't have the money, but not everybody's going to be able to buy things regularly. So making things yourself, going to charity shops, thrifting and DIYing is a great way of getting those goth pieces for very little money. Some other things again that I'm going to show you that you can get an amazing goth wardrobe in the high street, and then lots of these things are from Primark, because in the UK and parts of Europe that's just a fantastic shop. Things like this is a nice little black sundress that has some really cool like broderie anglais sort of pattern, and again really easy to goth up into a goth wardrobe. This is an amazing like military jacket, and I think there are some military jackets, this is from a couple of years ago, but there are some of these in the sort of fashion at the moment, so you'll be able to get some. And it is such a trad piece of clothes. It's really good for throwing on, layering in the evenings when it's a bit colder, and it's very trad goth, very 80s. You can almost Victorian it up as well, so just something like this is an excellent thing to have in your wardrobe. These are a couple of skirts that I've got really recently from Primark. One was like an end of season sale, I know one is current, and this one is like got this tulle layer, and this one is like multi-layered tulle, and it's quite 80s, but I thought it was quite Victorian-y as well. So again, check places like Primark, like New Look. At the moment they're going to have some great things in there. Like this, you can find this dresses like this, gorgeous sort of lace dress with a slip underneath, very Victorian-y, very gothy. And it's just a case of looking around and feeling comfortable looking around, and not being afraid to go into shops like H&M, Primark, New Look, and looking, because there is going to be lots of things you can gothify without having to spend money. And remember, you can go places online. eBay is a fantastic place to get clothes for not that much money. You have to be careful because some of the stuff is a bit dodgy, especially if it comes from, for example, Asia. You have to be careful with sizings. But if it's somebody selling off their old clothes, I've got loads of really nice skirts, I've got a few great dresses and tops and things like that from eBay. So look for eBay, just go on there, type in goth skirt, Victorian top, whatever it is you're looking for, look for it on eBay. I've got fishnet tops from there. Like, that's another really good place to look. And as I said, things like ASOS, boohoo.com have some fantastic Halloween clothes at the moment that are super goth. So don't be afraid to look in some of those places you might not have thought of, because you could be finding some great bargains to create your own goth wardrobe for not that much money. My next video is all going to be about accessories and makeup, so jewellery, shoes, and then makeup. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, you found it useful and informative. If you have any other tips or you think there's anything I missed, then please do comment it below, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.